When you were in the 25th Precinct, following the time that you had agreed to work for the Commission, you had a conversation with someone in the 25th Precinct who had just come from narcotics duty. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And what had been his duties?
He was a patrolman in the narcotics division assigned to enforce narcotics laws.
And you spent a day with him in a sector car?
Yes, we spent a whole day together on a Sunday, and he had discussed how the narcotic division was set up and what the practices were at the narcotic division at this time. This was about maybe 2 months ago.
And you had, what was said in that conversation?
Well, he was very disgusted about the way the operation went in the narcotic enforcement division. They work with undercover plainclothesmen like themselves who are in disguises, and they look like junkies walking around in the area. And they're supposed to make direct buys from individuals engaged in narcotic traffic. The way it's done, they don't make the buys in all cases. And in many cases, it's just an absolute finger job by the undercover agent. He is supplied with the narcotics that he says he has bought off the individuals by the team that he's working with. In other words, they'll give him like maybe 10 decks of heroin, and he'll go out and he'll say, if he sees someone that's working in the street who looks like a junk dealer, or who in fact is a junk dealer, he'll say, okay, I just bought 2 decks off him, go in and make his records, turn in 2 decks of heroin, and then the fellow is arrested. The money that
would... question, you said they give him...
The team he's working with. Each undercover agent is assigned to a certain amount of other detectives to work in the narcotic enforcement. There might be maybe 8 or 10 men assigned to one undercover man. The money that he is supposed to use for buying the drugs goes in his pocket, and in some cases it's up to $60 a day that he makes and buys. The cases go to court. The undercover agent. The cases go to court, and in many instances these people who are told they had bought narcotics are in fact narcotics dealers. They don't know if they have bought from an undercover agent or not, and in a lot of cases they plead guilty to the charges, which are reduced at the time to, instead of getting 5 years, they might plead guilty and get 1.5 years or 2 years, possibly 2.5 years.
Are there scores as well in connection with these operations?
Yes, there are scores involved in the large narcotic operations.
And how does that work?
Well, a man is arrested or let go, and money is involved, money is taken. Money is involved in court cases involving narcotics.
Had you had any feeling about the climate in the department as far as the possibility of getting caught about this time?
Well, in the activities that I had engaged in the 25th Precinct, they were they were geared down. They were very slow. There was just a few things that were going on at the time that I engaged, and that was mostly the gambling. And even that was starting to shrivel up. And I had worked with a lot of younger men, and I had told them that the time in the job is over. The ball game is over. If you get caught now, you're going to really get jammed up. My advice to them was be very, very careful. They have these outside agencies now investigating the police department. We have a new commissioner who is a very strict disciplinarian, and the tide has changed. And if you can't go along with the tide, you're going to wind up getting in serious trouble.
What was the reaction of the people that you talked to?
Most of the people, the younger fellas that I talked to, heeded the warning, and they could see the handwriting on the wall.